Okay, so good morning, everyone. Our topic for today is about communication security. So, in this lesson, the students will learn how to understand purpose of encrypting and decrypting email, create and add digital signature, identify common characteristic of phishing, and recognize security risks associated with instant messaging. So, encrypting and decrypting email. So email is a crucial tool for many individuals as well as organizations. There are important security considerations associated with using email. However, you can take steps to ensure that your email content is secure and to verify the identity of the sender of an email. You also need to be aware of potential dangers associated with email such as fraud, spam, phishing, and malware. Encrypting an email protects the content from being read by unintended recipients. So it converts the text from readable plain text into scrambled ciphertext, protecting the privacy of the message. Only the recipient who has the private key that matches the public key used to encrypt the message can decipher the message for reading. Any recipients without the corresponding private key would see only garbled text. The digital signature, no? A digital signature is a unique digital mark applied to the message. So the digital signature includes your certificate and public key. This information proves to the recipient that you sign the contents of the message and are not an imposter, and that the contents had not been altered in transit. So this diagram show how a simple digital signature is applied and then verified. So as you can see here, no, the sign, so hash functions, then certificate, signature, then digitally signed the data, no, then verification, digital signed data, the data, the signature, and the hash, of course. And if the hashes are equal, the signature is valid. So if you work in a large organization, your employer may have obtained a digital ID for you. So if you want to get a digital ID for your own use, you can get one from one of the many companies that issue and maintain digital ID services. So you can also digitally sign your email messages. So to digitally sign all outgoing messages in Microsoft Outlook, for example, no, so this will be the process or the procedures. Now, receiving fraudulent and unsolicited email. You may be a user of online sites for social networking, online banking, or day-to-day purchases. So you need to be aware of emails that claim to be from these sites but are actually hoaxes and may contain malicious content. So you may receive an email claiming to be from a bank but has actually been sent by a spammer in the hopes of obtaining information such as your online username and passwords. Similarly, emails claiming to be invitations from social network sites such as Twitter and Facebook are now commonplace. So the messages may even contain an attached zip file that recipients are asked to open. So the attachment may contain a mass mailing worm which can cause damage to your computer. So as what we have here, this will be an example. Again, unsolicited email or spam is sometimes a relatively harmless but annoying for a form of mass marketing. So however, spam is also used by scammer to trick people into sending them money. So these types of email attract unsuspecting users by, or for example, proposing a business arrangement that could earn a very large amount of money. So the users are asked to send a relatively small amount of cash to the scammer. So the scammer will then keep asking for money while promising that the user will eventually receive more money in return. Other types of email warn of fake viruses and trick the user into malware. So if some cases, user can persuaded to forward the email to all their contacts in exchange for money. And this is merely a ploy to spread the email to us, as many people as possible. So spammers may also use these tactics to collect email addresses, which they can then use to send more spam message. Some spammers may also use your email address or spoof your address to distribute spam and to perpetrate various scams. So this will be the common features of this email. Okay, request to forward the email to many people, unsubstantiated claims that many other people have won prize or cash, and as most commonly, actually, this email, you receive this email in your spam, no? Most commonly. Now, the phishing. So phishing is a type of social engineering attack which fraudulently obtains private and confidential information from the victim. So in this type of attack, an email which appears to come from a legitimate business source, such as banks or other financial institution, is used to trick users into giving the information to the attackers. So they often use the company's logo and branding and go to great lengths to appear as legitimate as possible. So typically, the phishing email includes links to bogus websites that look very similar to legitimate websites, and some phishing emails warn of dire consequences if the victim does not provide the requested information. So, in addition to stealing personal and financial information, attackers may use this technique to distribute viruses and other malware to unsuspecting users. The entire process of phishing attack is shown here. So, of course, number one is planning. Okay. So, in planning, the perpetrators of the phishing attack decide which company or organization to spoof and find out how to get the list of customer email addresses for that company. So the use of mass mailing and address collection techniques used in similar to the methods used by spammers. Next will be the setup. Once the attackers identify the company to spoof and their intended victims, they prepare the email delivery and data collection methods and tools. Then after setup, attack. At this point, the perpetrators send the spoof email messages to the intended victims. So these messages appear to come from a legitimate. Okay. Then after that, collection. So the information entered by victims into the fake website is collected and recorded. And after that, identity theft and fraud. Using the information collected from the victims, the perpetrators begin to make illegal purchases or transfer money from the victim's account. Because, again, it is important to know that phishing emails are considered a crime, and many authorities have dedicated email addresses and units allocated to these incidents. So you can report phishing emails to the business that is being fraudulently uses or used and possibly to a relevant government authority. So next will be the email and malware. Email attachment and links are commonly used methods to install malware on computers. So therefore, it is important to understand what to do when you get an email that has an attachment or link in the email message body. Okay, attachment can be one of two things. Number one, the actual file or document designated in the email. And number two, a copy of the expected attachment that has malware embedded in it. So file with macro or an executable file. So you should only assume that the attached is legitimate if you know the sender. And the attachment is something that you would expect that person to send you. So if you do, or if you have any doubts, do not open the attachment. What you're going to do is just to confirm with the sender that is legitimate or delete it if not. Now, the instant messaging. So instant messaging or IM is a form of internet communications that delivers an instantaneous transmission of text-based messages from sender to receiver. So instant messaging delivers a message to a contact instantly as long as the contact is online. So most IM programs provide these features. Number one, instant messages. No, send text messages back and forth with a contract or with a contact who is online. So number two, web links. Share links to your favorite websites. Then video. So send and view videos and chat face-to-face with contacts. Images, you can share images. For example, photos taken by a mobile device or devices. The files, you should share files by sending them directly to your contacts, no? Especially at present in social media, no? You are also allowed to attach files and documents into your IM or instant messaging. Use the VoIP telephony to actually talk with your contacts. And of course, mobile capability. So it can use on mobile devices such as smartphones. Now, some of the popular IM providers are Facebook, Messenger, WhatsApp, Google Plus, Hangouts, no, and Viber, Instagram, and others. No, because IM networks not only transfer text messages but also files, IM can potentially transfer malware and provide an access point for backdoor Trojan horse. So hackers can get backdoor access to computers through IM effectively bypassing desktop and perimeter firewall implementation. And this can provide access to your computer or server, compromising your information. So methods of ensuring confidentiality while using IM. Number one, encryption. No? One of the best way to secure the information being transmitted along via IM is to encrypt it, and some IM services offer encryption. And of course, another is non-disclosure of important details. So in general, you should refrain from disclosing personal and sensitive details over instant messaging. No, if the data that is being transmitted over the IM network is not encrypted, a network sniper which can snipe data on most types of networks can be used to capture the instant messaging traffic. Again, do not post to your another account your password, your personal data, or even the password of your ATM and any important passwords with your another account. Because there are certain cases, for example, I have two accounts. I will send all my informations in my other account, especially the password, not for me not to forget that password. It is not advisable. Okay, so restrict file sharing, of course. Avoid sharing files or folders using IM, as this can compromise security and facilitate the sharing malware. And I think that's it. Thank you for listening, and I hope you've learned on how you'll be able to safeguard your files, data in computers, because it is important for us to know on how to encrypt and decrypt our email. We need also to know on how to use some digital signatures. We need to find out on how we'll be able to know or identify the common characteristic of phishing, and able for us to recognize security risks associated with instant messaging. Thank you and good day, everyone.